welcome back to Unstabled. We are at Victory Monday. This is the 36th episode, and as you can see, finally got the whole crew back. Alex has been dealing with those pesky little storms in Florida, and he's obviously okay, and we're all glad for that. How are you doing, man?
I'm good. It's been I've been like battling sickness too the past week. I think just not even the stress, because like hurricanes just don't stress me out anymore. I've lived with them my whole life, but it's more just like the constant shit, cleaning up branches all over my yard and moving houses constantly, just to find a place with power. But everything is somewhat back to normal. I know we have a massive frontier pole that has been broken. It's hanging over the road, and the wires are about 5 feet above my car when I drive under it. And Frontier has just done nothing about it. They haven't even come down to just take it down. The government hasn't done anything. So I hope it doesn't fall on someone and,
But aren't you supposed to be getting a whole bunch of money?
That's on Frontier. Frontier is not doing their job. The cable is not cable. That is my one thing. I have a huge issue with Frontier and Comcast and all them. They have been so fucking behind what FPL is doing. I give FPL like all the kudos. They're working their asses off. The guys that are like working on those trucks are literally sleeping outside because they're just working around the clock. But like the cable companies, I think scam artists anyways, but the cable companies have just been slacking completely. So, yeah. I don't know who it is. All I know is something's not getting done, and that belongs to Frontier. So, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully they get their shit together. That's not safe, man. Those down lines are a little dangerous.
I will say, like, part of this stuff, like, it kind of brings me back to my childhood, because when the power's out, everyone's out doing stuff. It's all very
actually talking to each other. Yeah.
Even when we went to a Publix that somehow had power the day after just to charge up all of our devices, and it was just people actually sitting in the lounge area, people talking. It was really nice. Brought me back to like when I was 7, 8 years old. Like, wow, this is what it was like. And then it just went right back.
No, for sure. And of course, we have Justin, Kingmaker DFF. Sorry, he's with Chaotically Intolerant. Want to give the shout outs. Kingmaker DFF for all your fantasy needs. How are you doing, man? It's been a while.
Oh, pretty good. Yeah, work and coaching and everything's been kind of keeping me busy, but sorry I've been out. But like I said, I'm back today, ready to talk some Colts.
Hell yeah, man. So we've gained a few subscribers. We're at 65. Want to keep that number growing. I set a goal for 100. Help us keep pumping that up. Likes, let's just shoot for 10 on this episode. Keep it low, keep it modest. We should be able to do that. I mean, we're getting the views for it. So while you're here, just click the button. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything. I'm constantly. This is the easy part of doing a podcast. There's a lot of editing and stuff after it and before it. So talking's the easy part. There's a lot of work that goes into it, so definitely appreciate the support.
Yeah, it doesn't cost you any money. Just tap that little screen.
Cost nothing, man. Just push the buttons. We appreciate it.
I won't give you spam mail, I promise.
No spam mail. Unless if you want. Make sure you drop a comment, whatever you saw, disagree with. Let us know. We'd love to talk about it in a future episode. If you want to talk about upcoming matchup, now's the time to do it. Just go ahead and comment. Help us get that algorithm going. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah, you never know when your question might be featured.
Absolutely. And we don't get a whole lot, so we'll probably feature. But
the odds are ever in your favor.
We're coming off Victory Monday, and I'm not saying that I'm superstitious, but I'm a little bit stitious. Every time I've worn this shirt, the Colts have won this season. So damn it, I'm going to keep wearing it until they lose. All right.
I love it.
And we'll be at the game this Sunday.
We could use any help we can.
Use the help. So I'll keep wearing it. I'll be there Sunday for the Texans. I'll be wearing it.
Oh yeah, you're going too, huh?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'll be there too.
Hell yeah. So hopefully they get another.
Not Alex. He's a loser. He doesn't live around us.
He lives in Florida.
I know. I gotta fight the environment every week. Am I tougher than the fucking sun and the rain now?
Well, I think your completion rate is just as good as Anthony Richardson's this week against those Hurricanes.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. So obviously we're going to be summing up the the win against the Dolphins, it was a win. We'll take it. But damn, it was an ugly one. It felt like which cripple is going to cross the finish line first, and I don't mean to. I mean that's a knock on the Colts and Dolphins, not against the sports that
Have you ever watched the Paralympics?
No,
Those are some elite athletes. Like if you don't know, like you should flip on the Paralympics, and those people are getting it. Like they make you feel like less of a human.
Yeah, I don't want to watch
I'm
it because
almost
it would
more
just depress
impressed.
me. And
Most of them,
because,
I'm more impressed by them than like the regular athletes.
Yeah.
Seriously, because it's like, how are they doing this? You know, obviously the regular athletes are insanely good athletes.
Yeah, you're a walking
people-
miracle. I mean,
Yeah.
exactly, dude. You can't help but be impressed.
Yeah, and again, I'm not saying that as a knock. I'm saying that this was a bad game. it was like the only, I guess, saving grace is that the Colts are one of the least penalized teams. Again, I mean, they only had 4 in this game for 25 yards. So that's, hey, at least they're well coached enough to where they don't commit penalties, because God, if they committed penalties, they would probably be right where the Titans and Jacksonville is right now.
Jeff, it's funny that you said it was an ugly game, because Mo Alley Cox, there's a Steichen quote told Mo Alley Cox. He said, and this is a Steichen quote, fuck it, we're going to win ugly today. And you did. Congratulations, you did.
They did.
But like you said, a win is a win. I'll take it.
I'm happy that they can win the ugly games. We talked about it with Pittsburgh, that Mike Tomlin he's a good coach, and he finds ways to win just shitty games like this. And the Colts did it. So, man, there was a point there where I was like, dude, I don't know how. I think it was you, Alex, that said it. I don't know how, if they lose this game, how Gus and Steichen can have a job after this. It was that ugly.
Especially Tim Boyle. Especially with Tim Boyle in at the end.
Yeah, when you bring him in, yeah.
And it got close.
Tua's playing. I don't think that we win this game, because the only thing I think that really helped us was their lack of a passing game. Yeah. Like our secondary should be taken out to whatever restaurant they want and given all the treats and eats and everything, because they. Now again, it was Huntley and Boyle, right? Let's not give them too much credit, but they did eliminate Hill and Waddle. I mean, they each had a catch apiece. That's pretty damn good for that offense.
But I'll say this: Hill and Waddle, I think I saw this stat during the game, they have not had a touchdown reception that's not Tua. Like, they have not caught a pass from any other quarterback on the Dolphins besides Tua. So is it the secondary?
I feel like the same way that Pittman doesn't catch touchdown passes with Anthony Richardson, only backup quarterbacks.
It's definitely.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
It was definitely their quarterback play. I'm just going to answer that question. It's the quarterback play. Tyreek Hill a catch for 8 yards. Jalen Waddle 1 catch for 11 yards. And there's so many people that took Tyreek Hill first, and they are absolutely, like myself, hating this without Tua, because this is brutal.
And think about that. You want to talk about Tua, and a lot of people knocked on Tua. They're like, oh, he's not that good. Well, look at the offense without him.
Thank you.
And then look at the offense with him. You've got to give him credit, because I caught a lot of heat at the beginning of the year when I projected Tua, now of course a healthy Tua, to finish 5th overall in quarterbacks for fantasy football. Now, of course, that's not going to happen. He got hurt and everything like that. I had Josh Allen behind him, so people that came at me, just listen to me, all right? But because, I mean, okay, how do I put this? The team doesn't function without him, and this is Exhibit A, I feel like, So all you Tua haters.
I'm a professed member of Tuanon. I have been in Tuanon since his induction. I am a big Tuanon believer, and listen. This is like my porn, basically. Just saying, like, this just goes to show. I mean, everyone said Tua got overpaid. Tua doesn't deserve that money. One, give me a quarterback out there right now that would replace him. Okay. Yeah. What are you going to, are you going to draft another quarterback this year? Like, you already have a better than serviceable starting quarterback. And then he goes down, and Miami looks like a college offense right now. Like they can't move; they're dead last as an offense in the league. So ball
it's
don't lie.
embarrassing.
Ball don't lie. Karma
Their
doesn't
defense
lie.
is the only thing that kept them in the game on Sunday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so. Let's just get the bad out of the way. Anthony Richardson, he was on pace to. It was historically bad with Josh Allen. He went 3 or 9 of 30, 9 completions, 30 on 30 attempts. It was pretty bad. It was really bad. At one point, Richardson was on pace to go 9 for 33. It was not good. He did get a little bit better. He did get better in the second half. He did lead to 2 scoring drives there at the end of the game. So he did kind of improve a little bit as the game went on, but damn, dude, at one point he was 1 of 7. It was a really rough start for him.
Yeah.
And this is
more of that raw talent that we keep talking about.
You know what really drove me crazy, and that makes me hate Steichen even more for his play calling. Down in the red zone, we were inside I think we were at the 8-yard line. Trey Sermon had 3 rushes for over 5 yards. He was running downhill. He had the momentum, the hot hand. Steichen goes, you know what? I'm looking at this guy. He's running the ball well. Give it to Richardson twice. They run it with Richardson twice. Maybe they ran an option. I don't give a shit. They ran an option. Doesn't matter. They didn't run it with Sermon. And then they threw it with Richardson. Richardson had that horrible pass that was kind of to Josh Downs, but he got hit while he was throwing. And then they settled for a field goal. It was later in the game. We could have gone up 7 late. And instead, he goes away from Trey Sermon. It's just another example of not using Richardson in the correct way. There's no reason to run him there. Is he overthinking himself? Is he? I don't know what he's doing. I don't know why you would choose that.
I mean, if you keep running Sermon, eventually the defense would probably kind of start stacking up against it. So I kind of understand changing it up, but it's also the type of play that he ran. It was just, why would you call it that play?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You also, you have you can waste a play. Let's say on first down and you run it to Sermon and they stack the box and he runs in and gets nothing. Cool. Now get a little creative. But don't go away from something that's just working. It was just working at the time.
Yeah.
I don't. And
flashback to week 1 with Jonathan Taylor. Remember, 5 to 8 yards every carry, and then you just stop doing it, and then it just doesn't make sense. It's starting to become a little bit of a pattern here with this play calling.
Yeah.
It's we're going to be fancy now. We're going to change it up. No, don't. They're not stopping you.
Yeah. And I hear Colts fans talk about how his biggest weapon is his legs. Okay, cool. That's awesome. The guy, can't protect himself. He just does not know how to protect himself. He did slide a couple times, and I was literally cheering when I saw it. I was like, look at that. He slid. Oh, my God. And then he decided to just drop his shoulder into some defensive backs. Unnecessarily. And you have a guy who is coming back from injury. He missed all of last year with an injury. How is he not under direct order? Do not run the ball. It's absolutely necessary. And when you do run the ball, you get on the ground as fast as possible.
Yeah, protect yourself, man. Come on. You want to protect yourself.
They're trying to develop him as a passer. He's never going to develop as a passer if he keeps running. And if that includes taking away his legs for the moment, so you put away the run, all these run plays for the moment so you can develop him as an even average passer, he's going to be a great fucking quarterback. All you need him to do is be average. That's all we want, right? That's what we only want, 60% completion, right? I think that's a pretty fair thing when you have his legs as an extra weapon, but they treat him like he's prime Lamar right now. Like he can do anything. He can't do anything. He can't. He just can't. And I'm tired of seeing this. They got to run him more. They got to run him more. Well, he's never going to develop as a passer because he's never going to stay on the field. And I don't blame the guy. I really don't. He's a football player. He's going to do what he thinks is best to win the game. Mm-hmm. It's up to the coaching to make the proper decision and tell him, no, you're not making the choice that is best in your future. You're thinking about right now, which is what a lot of athletes do. They want to do everything they can to win the game. And the coach has to take the risk versus reward. Drives me crazy. That's why I think Steichen just cannot handle him.
And it's not like Anthony Richardson was really lighting it up on the ground either. I mean, 56 yards isn't terrible. he had a couple of good runs. I think he had a good run on third down. So it's not like it was terrible. It was just like you said, unnecessary. Like he ran 4 yards. Like he ran what I'd rather a 0-yard play where he doesn't take a shot than just putting him out there for no reason. Like if the play is there, and that's kind of what Lamar Jackson does. It's smart running.
Yeah.
And that's not what we're seeing.
Do you care about 4 yards against the Miami Dolphins enough to risk an injury? No. This season, if they really want to develop him as a passer, they should say, yeah, we're probably going to suck. We're going to be really bad. And I think that is a good discussion we can lead into later about Flacco versus Richardson. I mean, that's a real discussion to have, I think, as, at least they should be having that discussion.
It's a controversy sparking out too. So
it's this, and I'm not saying maybe do what the Saints kind of did with what's his face, Taysom Hill. I'm not saying like, oh, Anthony Richardson only get 3-4 snaps in a game, but I am wondering what defenses would do if it's Flacco under center and you kind of have, or even if it's Anthony Richardson, Flacco. I feel like you could use them on some plays together. To just, I don't know. I've been speculating this, and it's what would teams do if it's Flacco, Anthony Richardson, and Jonathan Taylor on the same field?
That'd be a dangerous flea flicker.
It would be weird.
One of your running backs as your quarterback.
That would be hilarious.
Is Anthony Richardson going to run it? Is Jonathan Taylor? Is Flacco just going to drop back and pass him, and Anthony was just there?
Have them line up on either side of Flacco, and both of them run to the outside. Richardson ready for like a double pass, and Taylor ready for like a little dump off catch and go. Oh my God!
Ultimate option. I'm not saying they should do it, but it would be nice to see. Even if Anthony Richardson's starting, just have Flacco under center, kind of some flea flicker type of nonsense. I don't know. I feel like Stecky could be a little bit more creative with what they're doing. It's just kind of bland still, and to his credit, Jonathan Taylor hasn't been on the field. It's been Trey Sermon, and it seems like he gave more of Goodson the nod in this game. And I was happy to see that because Goodson seemed like he was a lot more effective.
Yeah.
He had more burst on his runs. Overall, average
they were
was
less
better for Trey
prepared for
Sermon.
Goodson. They were planning for Sermon, but they got Goodson. So I think that helped.
Yeah.
We ran for 150 yards on the ground. That's a good running day. So I don't really want to disparage that. Let's not
without Jonathan Taylor. Yes.
Jonathan Taylor. Yeah.
I don't give a shit who gets the 150. I don't give a shit how you get 100, 150, 200 yards as long as you get it. Like I don't care where it comes from.
Hey, hold on. Fantasy football fans would they care? Hold on.
my fantasy season.
You're getting personal here. But nobody's starting Goodson or Sermon, so it's good.
This team should be a running football team. They should be a run-first team, and then take your shots with Richardson and let him take it deep. I mean, I don't.
The offensive line. Why not?
Yeah.
My league and one of my leagues.
It's true. That was the only offensive weapon we had was our offensive line on Sunday.
Yeah. But see, in one of my leagues, I have a lot of injuries. So Trey Sermon did start. God damn it.
Okay, I can't do this anymore.
It's so bad.
You better have a lot of injuries to start.
It's pretty bad. It's rough.
Yeah, you're hating.
All the good backs are gone. There's a couple of teams that have like 4 or 5 backs on their squad.
He's like Goodson, like coming up from the top, like, hey.
Yeah, I'm gonna take those two.
You started
I have Jonathan Taylor, so I've got Taylor, and I have a good back, like whatever. But both, like one was on a bye, one's injured. Obviously, there's a couple of teams out there with like 3 or 4 running backs on their squad. I'm like, there's nobody.
Well, I went running back heavy this year because I knew there was like only a handful of prime. But anyways, I don't want to get off topic. Sorry. I love fantasy football.
We'll sprinkle
Last week I had to start like Green Bay's third stringer because I had some late injuries. I just had to pick up like best available, and it was the third stringer.
Yeah, because you never know that nobody might get a touchdown,
And I think he got me like 2 points, which I actually won my matchup that week, which was
hopefully
great.
only needed 1.5.
Thank you, Lord.
But like back on Anthony Richardson, his accuracy is definitely an issue, and there was even a play where I think it was Alec Pierce ran a basic flat route, just 2 yards deep, right in front of Anthony, and Anthony still almost overthrew it. Like he made.
Yeah.
It was
He's trying to do too much, man.
If
was
he
in
sat in
stride.
stride, it's a huge play. But he had to slow down. He had to go up for it. It was a decent game.
And
but it could have been a
announcers
huge
even
game.
praised it. They were like, "This was a good throw from Richardson." I was like, "No, it's not. You have to hit
Way
him down
too
here." Pierce had to jump for it up here and pull it down.
Yeah, catch him in stride here while he's running. So
almost
he doesn't have to slow
overthrew.
down. Like that's basic.
In comparison to his last,
quarterback.
in comparison to his normal passes, yeah, that was a great pass because he put it somewhere.
Maybe that's
that
what they were
reach
doing. Put in perspective like that.
But he wasn't
almost
5 overthrew
PPA,
it by
that's a great
2
pass.
yards away. Like, can you just put it on him? Like, it was 2 yards away.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
There he goes with that getting excited stuff again. It's like, dude,
Yeah,
slow down, calm down.
Those jitters, man. But
Yeah,
I'd
at
also
the end
like
of the
to
day,
see.
it's just football.
I'd like to see these tight ends get more involved. The only tight end that caught a pass was your boy Mallory. It was only for 5 yards. Mo Alley Cox, nothing. Granson, nothing. Ogletree, nothing. I would expect we'll still call him a rookie. He's still in his rookie season. I'm just going to say it. You would think that they would lean a lot more on your tight end group, and not.
Granson showed that he was willing to step up. So use him. You know, I mean, if you know Pittman's like not 100%, then use him as more of a decoy. Then.
Yeah, and he still led the damn team. 3 receptions for 63 yards.
Yeah, the dude got a bad back, and he's still leading the team in yards.
That's tough.
I'm glad to see though in the receiving option though that Mitchell is catching more passes because he was looking pretty bad there for a while. He had a lot of drops.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not all the passes were pretty. You know, let's be a little fair on that. But he had his own drops, so we have to give credit where credit's due. But it looks like some of that's getting polished up. You know, so hopefully him seeing like, hey, like maybe that inflated head that he had when he played for Texas is kind of, you know, coming back down to earth, and he's seeing, hey, this is the league. This ain't college no more. Hopefully that keeps going because I think he's so athletic and so talented. I think he could be a great weapon for us. But it's starting to be kind of crowded in that wide receiver room. But that's a good problem to have if you're in your NFL.
That is
good problem to have, especially as cheap as that room is.
Yeah. Mitchell, to his credit, he's gotten overthrown on a few balls, so his stats should look a little bit better than they do. But I think I'm going to make, 10 wide receivers were taken in front of me, so I'm going to get the number 10 to make them all remember. And it's like, maybe make those kind of statements after.
Yeah.
Like
play with the chip on the shoulder quietly. Yeah. Prove it in the numbers. Don't talk about it. Yeah.
Something I don't want to get lost. I feel like I have to say this like every week because a lot of people love to pile on Richardson and the Colts because he was obviously touted as this really high prospect. And Colts fans forget about this too. They're expecting him to come out and be good, like just really good. Yeah. We drafted this guy as a project. This is like, you guys know this, obviously. I think more for the audience. This guy is a project. He should take, I mean, realistically, it would be 2 years at least, 2 years worth of games. So what, 34 games total to see if we could, if we had like a real starting quarterback in the NFL. Yeah. Realistically, it could take his whole rookie contract to see if he's going to develop into something. This guy just isn't a bust yet. I would say the exact same thing about CJ Stroud. Maybe he had a hot start to his career and he, feels really good and he's going to taper off. I mean, the Texans offense hasn't been good the past few weeks as well. I'm not saying CJ Stroud can be a bust, but this stuff will take a lot of time. These misses, I expected this stuff. Like, I was like, you know what? We're not going to see. It would be really nice to see Josh Allen or Lamar immediately, but we got a glimpse of that, and that was awesome. And then we got our expectations really high after last year, and now we're seeing the downside. We're seeing the other side of that. He's just going to struggle. He's just going to be not good for a long time, and we have to accept that.
Yeah, Colts fans are going to have to understand that and live with that, because in the dynasty fantasy football landscape, when you're scouting these players, you're not, of course, the casual fan just sees what they see on draft day, right? They're like, oh, this is a great talent, blah, blah, and they're thinking like, oh, this is our next Andrew Luck, guys. Day one is going to be good. But in the dynasty landscape of it, you're looking long term, okay? Mm-hmm. So we have these things called taxi squads, okay? What that means is you can store a rookie on there, and they don't count against your active roster. Okay, that's for developmental. So a guy like Anthony Richardson, you draft him, and he sits there because you're not going to put him in your starting lineup, especially if you have a guy like Josh Allen, right?
Yeah.
He's going to sit there for a year or two, like you said, and then once he's putting up enough numbers, you're like, okay, I can confidently put this person in my roster. Now we're good. My point is to say, if you did more research than just what you saw on ESPN, you would find out that every scout said this is a developmental talent. Every one of them, because he did not have all the game experience that a lot of these other, like a CJ Stroud did, or even Drake May, those guys, they played a lot for their teams and a lot of years. Richardson didn't, So when we've said it on this podcast plenty of times before, guys, slow down. He will be okay. Let's give him some time. We're not liking what we see now. I get it. I'm with you. I'm frustrated too. But give it some time. He should be okay. He should be okay. Can he bust? Yes. That happens.
It happens all the time.
It happens all the time.
Yeah.
Every year almost.
Yeah.
So, but that's okay. There's more down the road. Okay. There's a guy, there's a kid who's pretty good out there with the last name of Manning who might be okay. It might be available. So chill out, people.
Yeah.
I mean,
you
can use. Go ahead.
No, I was. There's just decision making. Oh, you're good. There's just decision making that you see. Like they get to the red zone, Anthony Richardson fumbles it. It's just there's some things in this game that at this point and at this level they should know. Like you don't see a whole lot of people overthrowing like those little drag routes. They're just not overthrowing it at this level. And that's high school and middle school shit. Like,
but he's played before this. He played 2 full seasons. Like he played one season of high school and 1 season of college. So like he's behind the 8 ball. He's behind every other of the developmental prospects. And I guarantee you the Colts knew that. Are they still believing that? I'm not sure. They don't seem to be calling plays like he is. They should be holding his hand through every single game this early in the career. And Justin, when you say, and I agree with you, when you say, oh, give him some time, I think people think like 6, 7, 8 games, right? Like that's time. That's a lot of time. That's 2 months.
Yeah.
No, time is years. Time is 26, right? Like I think Manning is going to come out in 26. That should be a very good point for Indy where and again, maybe it's not Eli or Arch. Maybe it's someone else. That should be a really good standpoint to evaluate, okay, is this going to work? This is the time. Is this guy really showing anything? If he isn't, then, take Arch and maybe make him compete. Maybe that'll be better for Richardson. He is a competitor. He seems like a really, really competitive guy. Maybe that'll kick him into gear finally.
And right now, I mean, I think we're kidding ourselves as far as the passing game goes. Dimensionally, with Jonathan Taylor, I think the offense could look better with Anthony Richardson just because of that running game and that whole angle of it. But when it's Sermon and Jusin with Anthony Richardson, it's still kind of one-dimensional. Like they still don't really respect that. When it's Flacco, the run game's very one-dimensional. But passing, Flacco probably gives you the best chance to win. And
it's competent. He's efficient.
Yeah.
That's all you want out of a passer. With this run game, you can still be very good on the ground with Joe Flacco because Jonathan Taylor, I mean, you're not paying Jonathan Taylor that money if he just sucks when Flacco's in. Like you're paying him because he's a good running back no matter what. He was good with Carson Wentz at the helm. He was good with Phillip Rivers at the helm. Remember his rookie year?
Yeah.
He was he struggled with Matt Ryan, but he was also hurt like all year. He was good last year with Gardner Minshew. So the one-dimensional thing with Joe Flacco, I just can't really buy into it because he's been good with other quarterbacks. So Flacco does give you the best chance to win. I don't think anyone can argue that, right? Is there anyone arguing that?
Right now, you can't argue that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's if you want to win games. Yeah.
Yeah. But so I hate Tom Brady and I hate listening to his advice. He did say something that makes fuck Tom Brady. It does make a lot of sense though what he said. He's like, when I got drafted in this league and there's developmental, he was drafted as a 6th rounder. So he was obviously a project. He was not touted as being, he's not the GOAT. But of course that's Peyton. But he was not drafted like that guy's going to be the best football player of all time. The most Super Bowl winning quarterback of all time. He's not that. He's that.
Yeah, they just took him as a guy.
they just took him as a guy.
Yeah.
And he sat for, I can't remember how damn long it feels. I'm so fucking old. But he sat behind Bledsoe, and it worked. Obviously, it worked in his favor.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning didn't sit behind anybody. Andrew Luck didn't. Mahomes did. Aaron Rodgers did. So there's cases for both to be made. Is there a case that maybe Anthony Richardson would help his development to sit the rest of the season behind Flacco? Maybe, does he need that humbling?
You have to have that conversation.
Because again, we talk about ego in this. If he's just guaranteed the reins and to the team, does he get that inflated ego that doesn't matter what I do on the starter? Like, does he need that kind of reality check? Like, dude, he is playing better than me. What do I need? Like, what do I need to do to take back the reins? So I think there's an argument to be made. Like, maybe he should. I get both sides of it. Flacco gives us the best chance to win right now. Do you help his development and sit him behind Flacco? People are going to argue that he sat behind Minshew, but Minshew isn't Flacco. I'm sorry, he got benched to
He's not a vet.
O'Connell.
Right.
He's not a Super Bowl MVP. He's not.
Flacco's forgotten more about the NFL game than any of these other guys.
Yeah, they're like, oh well, he sat behind Minshew. He was injured, and Minshew isn't Flacco. Minshew has and never will be a Super Bowl MVP. It never happened. It happened with Flacco. Like, am I saying that Flacco's the GOAT? Well, no. But it's not easy to win a Super Bowl, and it sure as shit isn't easy to go on the run that he did. So,
He's a Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah.
Like, not just a Super Bowl champion, a Super Bowl MVP. And you can talk about Joe Flacco being, quote, mid all you want. He's a Super Bowl MVP, and there's a very select group of people who have accomplished that.
Yeah. So, do you think? I would say, I feel like maybe at least a few more games, win healthy, sit behind Flacco, maybe give him that kind of humbling experience.
Yeah.
Man, I'm just not playing up to par, and I can get benched. So I'm not saying that to destroy his character. Dude, you have to figure this out.
But you're on the right track though, because competition will make you better.
Yeah.
You will increase if you feel like your position is threatened, you will, if you're a competitive person, which from everything we've ever seen from Richardson, he is. If you feel like you're threatened, you're going to step up. So I do feel that you're totally right. Joe Flacco is probably the right option right now to make Anthony Richardson realize, like, okay, yeah, I was drafted real high, but I'm not performing, and this old guy, quote unquote, is. So I need to do something about that.
I'm going to play devil's advocate because I believe Joe Flacco gives you the best chance. I think really what should have happened is Richardson should have been pulled at halftime or after the first drive of the third quarter in the last game, because he stunk in the first half. You go in, you make your halftime adjustments. If he still struggles on that first drive, you say, okay, Anthony, we're not going to let you feel bad about yourself anymore. We're going to bring in Joe and let him clean this up. I'll play devil's advocate. If you're pulling him, you might kill his confidence. I don't know who he is as a person, so that kind of changes with who they are. But if you're pulling him, that could kill his confidence and say, you're just not good enough. We got a 38-year-old guy that's better than you, So, but I think they should be evaluating after the third drive. If they are just horrible, what did we score? 3 points in the first half? It was 10-3 at the end of the half.
Yeah.
I was screaming, pull him. You can't keep him in here.
And let's be honest. The Colts got that third quarter score off of a scoop fumble from Alubi. So they were gift wrapped. Excellent field position. And Anthony Richardson didn't have anything to do with that touchdown. He handed the ball to Goodson. And
it literally felt like they were afraid.
But
they were terrified to give him the ball. I was even saying, and my buddies were laughing, I was like, do not give Richardson the ball. And they're like, why? I was like, well, we don't have a chance to win if we keep giving him the ball. They're like, that's your quarterback, right? I was like, yes, that is the quarterback that's on the field right now.
I'm glad that neither of you took the bet, because I said on my watch, we're going to get an Anthony Richardson interception here in the red zone. They just ran it, so you can't throw a pick if you just run the football. I was like, dude, the way that the game had gone to that point, it was like, dude, I had no confidence in them scoring off of this turnover. And that's just kind of the way that it's been. Like, the offense hasn't done anything with turnovers. I think, who was it that got the other turnover?
You got to score points off a turnover.
There's another fumble. I think it was Franklin that forced another fumble on, what was it, Mostert?
I think that was, yeah.
So, and they didn't do anything with that turnover. I think they went 3 and out and punted it right back to Miami. So, and we're talking about a Miami team that allowed the Titans, who hadn't scored 30 points in over 1,000. We're talking almost 3 years. The Titans hadn't scored 30 points. They did it against this Miami team, and the Colts offensively struggled mightily. Like, it was rough. And that's why we're having this whole discussion about Flacco. They won. They're winning with Anthony Richardson, but it's like, dude, they're 4-3, and what are the Texans, 5-2? So there's a realistic shot here that the Colts could win the division. There's just one game out, 7 games in. I don't know how they're 4-3. They're probably like a middle of the pack 4-3 team.
Yeah,
they could win the AFC South. And
I mean, it's possible. We saw the Seahawks one year make the playoffs with a losing record. So there's crazy ways to get into the playoffs.
Look at the Texans last year. That was CJ Stroud started out slow, and then they made a late surge to come back and win the division over us, which we also did have a really good November last year. Yeah. We were winning ugly those first 2 weeks, just kind of staying in there, and then we hit our stride in November, and we got into the race at least. So I can't believe it's already almost November. This is
Goodson, I did not forget about that drop. Just because you did good today doesn't mean I forget about that drop. I don't forgive you for that.
Hey, that was still a bad throw by Minshew. It was a combination of bad things. Yeah. But still, if it was another player probably catches that ball. But
also them doing the Raising Canes thing. Did you guys see Richardson and Taylor at Raising Canes this past week?
No.
So Raising Canes, they'll do they bring in athletes and celebrities to serve food.
Oh yeah.
There. Well, it was Dairy Queen. I'm sorry, not Raising Canes. Dairy Queen. They brought in Richardson and Taylor to serve food at some Dairy Queen in Indiana, and I could just see the memes writing themselves. And then after we score 16 points against the Miami team that literally cannot move the football, I was like, oh my God. This is going to be really bad. These guys should be serving Dairy Queen for their career, not just for the NFL.
So I guess my next question is, since the Colts are 4-3, we know they're going to stick with Anthony Richardson. I mean, either way, they're going to stick with him, I think, barring injury. But hypothetically, as coaches, I think we've already kind of made the decision that Flacco should start from here on out, just because. And I say it because they're 4-3 and have a realistic shot at the playoffs. I want to end that drought. I know everybody else does. Richardson's on a rookie contract. Flacco is on a kind of, I don't want to say a cheap deal, but he's on a 1-year flyer. Maybe they renew him for another year. That's if he doesn't want to retire. But I would say that if they had a 1-5, 1-6, whatever record, I would say just keep Anthony Richardson going. Get him the reps, finish the season. Yeah. The season's lost. It really doesn't matter if you put in Flacco or Anthony. But right now, we have a very real chance at the playoffs. So I
mean, Flacco's in a superstar position, because I don't mean superstar as in he's gonna a league MVP superstar. I mean superstar as in he's got the best job, because one, he gets to sit back and watch somebody fail. When they're failing, he goes in and he looks like a godsend, the savior of the team. And then when they make the swap back, now, guys like us, we're having the conversation. We'll put Flacco back in. Now he's just sitting back. It's yeah, put me in. So he's looking – he can't – how do I put this? There's no way he looks bad right now at all. Yeah. So he's in a great spot. So if you can –
the story of the backup quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, not all of them. Curtis Painter?
Right now, Miami is fuck, I wish I had Flacco. There's so many teams that passed on Flacco. And it's right now, the Colts have had a history of having some of the best backup quarterbacks. I mean, we talk about Matt Hasselbeck when he was with Andrew Luck. Right now, it's Minshew was still one of the
MVP.
Yeah.
One of our backups won an MVP when we were in Baltimore.
Mhm.
When
So-
Johnny Unitas went down, he came in, won the MVP. I think we won the Super Bowl with him. Let me look him up. I can't remember what the hell his name was.
I mean, we even had Nick Foles who did the same thing with the Eagles. I mean, he didn't play as well.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
Not everybody's a Nick
Really
Foles,
good.
though, either. Like, we got to be
Not
fair. Not
everybody's
every
a Nick
backup's a Nick Foles. I mean, sometimes you get a Josh McCown who can come in and do well, or you can get a Ryan Fitzpatrick. Well, no, he wasn't really like a backup. He was just like you did well for a couple games, throw 1,000,000 yards in 3 games, so let's bring you in.
Yeah, Earl Morrall. He stepped in. Colts went 13-1, and won the NFL championship
Hell yeah.
and won the MVP.
Which I still count those as rings. A lot of people say that was I know it's pre-Super Bowl era, but I still count those championships. That's why I give the Browns their credit, because they dominated the league before the Super Bowl era.
Yeah.
But then again, they had
The Bears,
Browns,
too.
so.
Bears were really good.
Yeah,
Before the
like you
Super
got to
Bowl.
give credit to those teams. Like just because they suck now, like they used to dominate.
But we'll look at the positives in this game. I think we've kind of talked about Anthony Richardson enough. Of course, there's enough forums on there that there's a lot of negative, there's positive, whatever.
I'm sure it'll give us lots of
let me just say
content in the
this.
future.
I'm gonna end it like this. Nobody except probably his family want to see Anthony Richardson succeed more than me. Like like he's a 4th round pick. The dude is super talented, cannon for an arm, extremely athletic. I want him to do well. Like I'm not saying he's trash, get rid of him. I'm not saying that. It's just I want him to do well. It's just there are people that get paid a lot more money than me to decide what the best course of action for his development is. And I hope he's on the right course, but it seems right now he's just getting his ass kicked every week. And I don't think that's best for him.
No, I mean trial by fire, school of hard knocks, right? It's a proven system. I mean that's why it's still used.
Oh, but he
The
already
saying
has.
is survive the test of time because it's proven. It works.
I'm saying we've been down this road already. Andrew Luck, ankle injury, lacerated kidney, shoulder problems, and now Anthony Richardson, concussion injury, shoulder surgery. Like it just feels like we're going down the same path, and it's just why are we sending this guy out there to get his ass kicked? Why are we calling these plays for him to he doesn't know how to slide yet? Clearly, you haven't engraved that shit into his brain to protect himself, or he's just being stubborn and not doing it. So
when you said Andrew Luck, all I could think about is how phenomenal the team would be right now with Andrew Luck.
yeah.
With what offensive line we have now, talent we have right now.
Year 12 Andrew Luck right now.
Oh
my God.
We miss you, Andrew.
Dude, those Colts teams were terrible with Luck.
Yeah.
They really were. If you look at the roster without Luck, they were bad. They were.
Look at 2011. I mean, there was a reason we had the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
And he literally turned around and we were 11-5.
Yeah.
And then we faced the buzzsaw of Joe Flacco.
Now it's
in the wild card round.
We're on the opposite end of that, and it's I think there's a lot of talent around this. Obviously, they're injured. Their injury reports a mile long. Ibukum injury reserve, and DeForest Buckner has been on IR. Hopefully, and we didn't talk about injuries either. Buckner is eligible to return finally. They're hoping he practices this week. And who else was it? Let me see here. There's one other name I know I'm forgetting.
It just drives me crazy. This team is so good, even without Richardson. You take him out of the equation and just make him hand the ball. Why are they not getting creative with everyone else on the offense? If they try and get creative, it feels like they're trying to do it with Richardson, where they're like, we're going to make you run and do all these weird formation plays. Why doesn't he just hand the ball off to a running back and do some stupid reverse? Just get creative with those really talented guys you have. Where is the creativity with all of those other guys?
Yeah, Richard's not the only talented guy you have. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like they're trying to force him. Like they're trying to force him into hero ball.
Like make him a thing.
Yeah.
You could stick me in as a quarterback. I snap the ball, give it to Jonathan Taylor, and then they just do whatever the hell they want to do. I'll just be a body. Why are we not doing that?
It's like they're trying to justify Anthony Richardson instead of letting him develop, like we were talking about. It's just like when what's his face Gregson brought in Bjorn Werner. He's a fucking bust. He was terrible, and he stayed out there for 3 years. Like,
Yeah.
at what point do you say, okay, this was a bad pick?
He
He's
tried to
not
make
working.
it a thing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's like,
I'm
I'm not
just not-
wrong. I'm not wrong.
I'm not
You're
comparing
wrong,
AR
bro.
to that. We knew he was a development quarterback,
Yeah,
but
but the concept.
it's-
No, I think
the
the viewers are
concept
gonna
is-
understand your concept you're making.
yeah. It's like I think.
Well, and I
Let
can
him
get
be
it from
comfortable.
if you're the one who drafted that player, you don't want to take the L. You don't want to eat that, right? So I get it. But if you're really caring about your team, then you got to put that pride aside.
Yeah.
And be like, all right, well, we fucked up. Let's go to the next one.
Yeah. Arch Manning.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, there's a lot of bright spots. I mean, we had some big performers on the defense too, which kept it, kept it good. It's weird to say, like, it was a very low scoring game, but it was kind of defensive when you look at it. Like, both offenses were just horrible. We're just hot garbage.
They did not execute. Miami had 2 fumbles in the second half. They missed a field goal, which, points are important. We had a fucking stupid fumble deep in Miami territory. Like, this was not a defensive game. These teams were just not executing. I mean, Richardson, count the misses.
Mm-hmm.
Were the offenses so bad the defenses look good? I mean, is that what it was?
Okay. Good. Miami's defense is actually good. They are
they are good.
They are good. I don't want that to get lost either.
Okay. So
help them out
both Tim Boyle and Huntley went 15 of 26, like 160 yards and a touchdown. That's not great. They didn't throw any picks, but it was okay.
I also feel like if you rush for over 150 yards, you should be scoring over 16 points. Yeah. Over 10 points. Clearly,
they went for almost 200 yards.
Passes in check except for one. If the only person that you let eat all day was Jonnu Smith for under 100 yards and 1 touchdown, I'm all right with that. If you're letting Jonnu Smith be the star of the game for the Miami Dolphins that are loaded at speed everywhere, I'm okay with it. I mean, am I alone in that?
I don't know why Miami. I don't know why A-Chain didn't have like 35 touches.
If Miami wasn't the worst offense in the league, just statistically, I would be fine. But they are just one of the worst offenses. This is not. This is clearly a Miami issue. This is not our defense. Finally, showed up,
back, and it shows.
Bring me Tua, baby.
Yeah. I think I'm going to be a follower of Tuanon from now on.
Tuanon, baby.
Yeah,
we'll welcome you with open arms.
Yeah.
The Colts don't win this game with Tua.
Guardian cap. He's not going to wear the Guardian cap or any sort of extra head protection. Which that's the one guy.
I think one more that kid's done. One more and there's no way that kid.
They keep saying that every time.
The league's got to be like, hey, I'm sorry, dude. Like, you're done.
Well, they have to have a liability concern at that point because they've been sued in the past for that. You would think, whether you agree with it morally or not, there is a liability issue. They've been sued before. They could be again if you come back in 5 years and say, this guy had so many concussions, why did you let him back on the field? Now, obviously, I think it's Tua's ultimate decision. There should be doctors involved as well. I would assume there are. I mean, involved in that decision. But
definitely a new doctor because what happened to him last year, that guy, whoever said, oh, yeah, he's clear to play next week and he plays and it happens again, like, you should never be allowed to practice medicine the rest of your life. Just go work at Walmart or, the gas station down the street because medicine ain't it. We can't
just like
decision making.
What the hell is his name in oh my God, Any Given Sunday, the doctor in Any Given Sunday.
Oh yeah, where he's all crooked and everything.
I can't remember the actor. Yeah. James Woods. The only reason I know that's because of Family Guy. He's like, it could have been him.
Yeah, I think that's who it was.
Jesus.
But there were some bright spots. Not many. I think the biggest bright spot came at halftime. Though.
Latu, baby. Got a second sack.
Dude, he's looking good, right?
Second sack.
Getting that penetration. I'm loving it, man. He's that's what you want to see from your rookie, your young guy. You want to see positive progression. And I love that, man. I love that.
Oh, yeah.
Good for him. He was my defensive rookie of the year pick, so I gotta support him.
And let's see. I didn't it wasn't on my bingo card for this game or any game. I didn't see Grant Stewart leading with 18 tackles. Didn't see that coming.
No, he did.
Zion Franklin did his thing, 16 tackles. Nick Cross, Blackman, all look good. Jalen Jones, I mean, they lit up 150 yards passing, so I'm okay with that. And let's see, Jalen Carley's got a sack as well, so they did better, I think, this week getting pressure than they had in the past couple games, especially the Jacksonville game was abysmal. But they definitely got after it a little bit more in this game, so I was happy to see at least a couple of sacks in the stat column. A couple of
Stewart
fumbles.
definitely earned some more playing time. 100%.
Yeah, I'm like,
every time you look up, you just see that hair flying to make another tackle.
Yeah, it was like, God damn, 18.
I mean,
18
even
tackles,
when everybody
really?
comes back, do you start saying, hey, let's give this guy some more snaps? I feel like you have to. He went out there and got you 19 tackles, 11 by himself. I feel like you have to at this point. The kid just went out there and proved it that he can do it. Yeah, okay, like we talked about the Miami offense, but still, like, they're fast, and he proved that he was fast as well. So good for you, Grant Stewart.
Yeah, that was a hell of a game, man. So there were some bright spots in this one, which there weren't a lot, but there were some.
It's a win. You're going to have bright spots.
It's a win. It's a
no
win.
matter what.
Yeah.
It's victory
Matt
Monday.
Gay.
It's victory week. Matt Gay
made all his field goals.
Yeah.
They fucking let him kick his field goals. Good job, Steichen.
And he made them. Listen, I'm still not out on Matt Gay. I'm still very in.
Well, we paid him all that money, so we have to force him. I'll force those kicks. Just like Jonathan Taylor. Give him the ball.
That should be the reason with Steichen, too. They should be telling him, you need to take the points because we paid this guy. We got to fucking use him.
Yeah.
They don't take those 3 field goals, they lose this game 10-9.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, take the fucking points and you win 16-10.
They're not picking up first downs. They're not picking it up. No way. Or touchdowns if they were inside the 10.
I mean,
if you're 50 yards, like, okay, Matt Gay, go.
Yeah. I think he had, a 52-yarder in the game, so that was nice to see. Yeah, 52.
Let's see. Yeah. There you go.
Go Matt Gay. Seems like you kind of shake the cobwebs off a little bit. I mean, there was a little bit of rust at the beginning of the season. And how about that other guy, Spencer Schrader? I follow the Colts on Facebook, and it's like every fucking week the Colts release Spencer Schrader. The Colts bring him back to the practice squad. Like, he has to be the most released and signed practice squad player in history. That poor guy has no fucking idea if he's going to have a job.
At what point do you stop answering the phone call when they call you? Like,
nah,
guys,
I'm good.
Stop. I've already canceled 3 apartment leases this year. Stop it.
Block. I'm not going back to that. Jeez, he's like the human yo-yo to our practice squad. It's crazy. But hey, he keeps signing. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
At this point, I feel like another team is just going to feel sorry for him and be like, "Look, we promise we won't keep releasing and re-signing. You'll at least stay on the practice squad. That's what we can offer you."
Go ahead.
I just want to say we were talking about fantasy with Richardson. I wanted to look at his games. I think his week 1 in Houston hurt his view from the rest of the league. He started out with 30 points, 212, 2 touchdowns, 6 rushing attempts for 56 yards and a rushing touchdown. So 30 points, great start. And I think everyone just expected, oh, this guy's going to be really fucking good. After that, 11 against Green Bay. He had 204 with 3 picks and a touchdown. 4 rushes for 37 yards. Chicago, 5 points, 167, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Pittsburgh, obviously 71, started out a little better. He actually had more points in the 2 drives against Pittsburgh than he did the entire game against Chicago. And then 8 points against Miami with his 1 lost fumble. So Houston hurt him. Starting out that hot, you never want to start hot. He should have started awful. We should have just gotten our asses kicked. And
it's all downhill from there, man.
And I really do think that hurt him in the national kind of scale of things. Because people, they pay attention as much as they can. It's impossible to pay attention to every single player and every single team.
I think it's just, for me, I mean, he only played 4 games last year. So I think the biggest issue that I'm having is he was completing about 60% of his passes when he played last year. He looked good.
And he wasn't turning it over either.
Yeah. He looked good as a passer. Not great, but good. He had a lot of touchdowns in those 4 games. Like, it looked really promising. And to see this it seems like a hard regression from those 4 games. Like, and I think that's the most concerning thing to me when I say these. Maybe he does need to sit. They're not going to. I mean, it's pretty obvious at this point, but maybe he does, just because that, to me, that's really concerning. About
do the Jackson Holiday. Jackson Holiday for the Orioles. He started horrible, played a few games. He looked awful, looked like a bust. They sent him back down to AAA, I think, and then he came back up, and I think he hit a home run in his first at bat back. Like, you can sit him. I mean, I know people act like that's like not an option because he just hasn't played, but I think you can. Or you could sit him next year, play him this year, see how things shake out, and sit him next year. I don't know. I don't really know the full. I mean, these people are getting paid millions of dollars to make that decision, and I don't think they know.
Have him go play in the XFL in the offseason.
Do it. Go play in Houston. Go play for the Roughnecks. Is that
there? You go.
There you go.
Right? That'd be hilarious.
Oh, he would kill it here. He would kill it in the XFL.
That'd be so funny doing it in Houston, being like, yeah. I mean, the memes would be crazy. Again, it would be horrible for us, but.
Fuck it. I would probably get a season ticket to the Roughnecks if Anthony Richardson was coming to. If he'd be a Roughneck, I would be at every fucking game.
I meant to make some of them games, but I didn't.
Their tickets are so cheap. Like, and people talk
and
about
it looks
the
like the fans have a really good time
too. But they talk about
the
talent level of those games, and it's they're all on the same level, so it doesn't look like it's that they're bad. Of course, if you took an XFL team and put them up against the Panthers, they probably they look like shit. But
right.
But
all those guys were NFL players. I get it, practice squad, third string, fourth string, at one point, or they were seriously being considered to be signed to a team. So these are not scrubs. These are still some of the top players that were in college, right? So the league can only have so many people. So you got to go somewhere else. There's only so many roster spots.
When they had, because when they had a Tampa team, I remember I tried to pay attention as much as I could. I was like, this is just not the same. But they had open tryouts for the Vipers, and I know a bunch of people that went up and they couldn't even compete. There was no competition with the guys that did get picked. I don't think people realize the disparity in that. They're not playing at the highest level, but they're not even close to scrubs.
Well, it's because they think, these are just a bunch of old guys going out there playing. Like, no, this isn't Big Three basketball. These guys are legit still. Like,
they're closer to Tom Brady than you are to them. They're a lot closer to Tom Brady than you are to them. To use a good the hell is his name? Basketball player.
I don't understand why most NFL teams don't say let's use this as a glorified taxi squad or a glorified practice squad.
I don't know how that hasn't happened yet.
You already have the resources. Even if you give them the trickle down resources, the used jerseys or whatever. Come on, man! Don't call them the Colts or something. Call them like the Indiana Stampede, like something. But use them as a
look at minor league baseball. Look at how good minor league baseball is.
Why does the NFL not have a farm system?
Cities love their minor league teams. There is city pride. I mean, there aren't a ton of them, but a lot of cities love them. The Durham Bulls.
Dude.
Yeah, in Texas we got some big. We had Round Rock for a long time, and then Sugar Land right now is another big one. Yeah, there's Space Cowboys now, which Skeeters.
Well, whatever. Skeeters. It was so much better.
Mosquitoes are a big thing here.
When I was in Iowa, there was they kind of bounce around to what they're a farm team of. I think for a while they were the Cubs and they were the Reds. They were the Angels farm team for a little while. It was the Cedar Rapids Colonels, and they had Veterans Memorial Stadium. That's when I lived there. I went to so many games. The tickets were like $7 for badass seats at these games. It was so much fun. The community loved it.
When I was a kid, the Cincinnati Reds had a team in Sarasota at Ed Smith Stadium, and we would go probably once or twice a week to games, and there would be no one there. So I'm a kid. I can just run around the stadium. I catch foul balls. I remember I even did some things on the field. They would do the little games on the field, the races. Yeah. Me and my dad did a race, and I was 8 years old, and they gave me this adult-sized jersey, so it's down to my knees. And my dad started on second, and I started at home plate, and we had to run the bases quick, faster than each other. And that was just a cool little thing that I'll never forget. as a kid.
Well, and that's what you can
And-
do as a farm system. Like if the Colts
Yeah.
had something like that, you get the people who just purely love your team, but they can't really afford to go to like the NFL game.
Yeah.
But now you're saying, okay, for a tenth of the price, or whatever, but a fraction of the price, say you can still go to a Colts affiliated not NFL, but football game and possibly see some players. I mean, why not bring that as an attraction to bring players? But now, like you said, make it more of a family thing now. You have like a small little carnival out there, something like that. Like I just don't see why they don't do that. The Colts could do Jim Irsay, why not, dude?
Especially when sports, like going to sports, is just unaffordable for a typical American
They've
family.
made it so expensive.
I mean, it's $100 a ticket to go to a regular season game. Like I would say that's probably on average.
And then everything on top of that. If you want
your kids are going to want your little ankle biters are going to want food.
Exactly.
Can't bring food
that's another $50. Yeah. Like I don't see why they don't do that. I mean, even if it's your younger talent, I'm not saying, okay, Buckner, you're not doing good. Let's send you down to the Indiana Stampede. Like, no, don't do that. Do it with the guy who's out there in the XFL who couldn't make your practice squad. Now he's got a place where he's in your system, and you can even do some sort of exclusive rights, whatever they want to figure out, right? But say, hey, we want you here. Please sign for our developmental system. NBA's got it. They got the D-League. MLB's got the farm system. NFL, you got to catch up, man. You're losing a lot of good talent that you could have here.
Even the NHL. There's an NHL team in Fort Myers that people love to go to, or an NHL, farm system. They love going to those games just because it's a hockey game. It's nice to go sit in the AC, especially it's Florida. But you can play it. I mean, I don't know the exact stuff about playing in the stadium, but it's the fucking NFL. They are the most.
Yeah.
They make the most money out of any major American, or I think any sports league. I think they're the number one in revenue.
Yep.
They're making hand over fist. They could figure that shit out. Play on a
now financially, you
Wednesday.
can't have your farm team play in your NFL stadium because financially that doesn't make sense. The electric bill, that doesn't make sense.
They make more than enough.
Do like the XFL does and use smaller stadiums like universities, stuff like that they're not using that. Say, hey, we'll pay you a small chunk of our revenue to use your stadium, right? I mean, come on.
I mean, there's IUPI, right? Like Indiana University, Purdue, at Indianapolis, or some crazy long ass name. I'm pretty sure they have a small stadium. I'm sure they have a field that Indy could rent from them. Like,
why would you not take not alumni that work for the team that couldn't pull some strings?
Bullshit.
Come on. Yeah, exactly, dude. Let's make it happen.
For sure. Yeah, they definitely need it.
I all in all, did y'all watch that halftime ceremony?
I didn't get to.
I don't think they were showing it on the broadcast. I don't remember.
Oh, they weren't. Where I think it's on YouTube, but where no gloves Clark got in, so that was long overdue. I still feel like he's a Hall of Famer, but he'll be a Hall of Famer in my book. But I'm glad he got in. It's funny, I got the Clark jersey on today because I was happy that he got in, man. And he got one little pass from Peyton Manning. Peyton threw him one.
Those photos of him and Peyton shaking hands after a touchdown. It's like so pure football to me because you see all these other guys do the hand, the special handshakes, but the bare hand, Peyton the Dallas Clark handshake, it looks so strong, so manly. It's like this
manly,
yeah. It's like the perfect example. There was like a specific photo I was looking at, and Clark and Manning just had the firmest grip of a handshake I've ever seen.
Just the muscles, you see the muscles, just like they know they're squeezing their hand. Yeah. I always love that he didn't wear gloves.
We're trying to break each other's hand.
Man. Yeah, exactly.
And they're looking at each other. It's not like a full face smile, but they're like, we scored a touchdown. Like we know what we're doing. Like we're about respect and professionalism. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's Colts
that was
football.
Professional. Yeah, exactly. Right. Have a gin and tonic with old Jim. But that was awesome. I always loved that he caught with no gloves. I thought that was very old school, very hard nosed.
Yeah.
So to me, he's like one of the top tight ends of all time. I don't know how you say he's not,
I
but
would say so.
of course, there's a lot of fancier people out there, but fundamentally, Dallas Clark,
Just
that's
the
one of the
change
best tight ends of all time.
change of the position, I think, and the evolution of it is really what kind of pushes him out, because there's like two
Yeah.
different types of tight ends now. So like you have those receiving versus blocking tight ends versus maybe there's
Or they call it
bit more of a
move
mesh.
tight end now.
Yeah.
Called a move tight end.
Is that what they're calling it? I haven't heard that.
Yeah. Because that's what Granson is. Granson's our move tight end, and Mo Alley Cox is our inline tight end. Which
That's
is your
like
blocker,
Major
right?
League Baseball introduced the sweeper as a pitch, like a new pitch within the last few years. I remember seeing that like officially show up on the broadcast. I was like, what the fuck is a sweeper? Just it's a slider that's I think it's a little faster. I can't even remember what their definition is anymore. It's like, come on, just stop.
They're just making shit up at this point.
Yeah.
But I think that's a good place to end it. We're about 5 minutes over the hour mark. So if you made it this far, make sure you like, share, subscribe. We appreciate all the support.
It costs you.
Just tap it. Doesn't cost you nothing. We're not charging you. Not
Tap.
Make sure, just help us out. Just tap it out. You're already here. Again, Justin Kingmaker _DFF. Make sure you go check him out. Show him some love. Same thing with Chaotically Intolerant. He's constantly doing stuff for everything, baseball, football, the works, man. He's
quality content down here. Quality content. Go
Yes,
give him a follow, man. I enjoy your content.
He's got like
we're trying as hard as we can.
He's got like 30 pages on his website. There's a shitload of content on there. It's crazy. Head over there, show
yeah.
Sign up for that newsletter.
It's been ping pong has been a little pushed to the back burner right now. The NFL is like the most important thing. But when Timothy Chalamet comes out with that ping pong movie, man, we're trying to take advantage of it like foreplay golf as really taking advantage of the shoot up of golf. Plus, you can drink inside and play ping pong versus drinking outside and playing golf. So,
nice.
But yeah, we're doing a bunch of stuff. I do want to give a correction on the Earl Morrall thing. So that was the year we lost to the Jets in the Super Bowl. He did come in, won the NFL championship, and then they did go with Unitas to start the game, but he came in later in the Super Bowl. And then he went to Miami the next year, came in for Bob Greasy after Miami started 5-0, and they were perfect the rest of the year. So Earl Morrall is the greatest backup quarterback of all time. He was also NFL MVP in 1968 and the AFC MVP in 1972. So really interesting guy.
Anyway, but yeah, that's some old history, and that's good stuff, man.
For the OGs.
Yeah, we're gonna wind it down here. Thank you so much for watching, for staying with us for hour 8 minutes now. We do appreciate it. And make sure you join us as we preview the Texans game. I think we'll do that, probably drop it either Thursday or Friday. So be on the lookout for that. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss it. And thank you as always for the shoe, baby. Let's go Colts. Bleed blue.
Monday, baby.
Hard,
The shoe.
Do the hard.
This is our Colts. This is our team.
All right, we'll see.
Stable out.
We'll see y'all in a few days.